From provider version 4.1, an extension method that makes it easier to use a provider has been introduced. Dot introduced the extension method from version 2.7. An extension method is a feature that allows developers to add new functionalities to other libraries. Provider includes methods that extend the build context. Build context is an object that holds a reference to the widget's position in the widget tree. You can use this to look at the upper part of the widget tree. This is why it is possible to find the type T widget in the widget tree via provider.of_t context. As a reminder, a provider object is a widget, so what is possible in other widgets is also possible in provider. The author of provider made the following 3 shortcuts to provider.of using extension. Context.read type T can be considered equivalent to provider of type T context listen false. In this case, it finds the type T object and returns that object. You can consider context.watch type T as replacing provider.of type T context. In this case, it not only finds the type T object and returns that object, but also listens for value changes. Watch listens for values from change notified provider, stream provider, and future provider. Context.select is used when you want to listen only to changes in a specific property of an object that has a lot of properties. Context.watch reveals even if only one value of object changes, but if you use context.select, you can selectively listen to what you want to listen to. The example of context.select below has a good effect on performance because it reveals only when the name value changes. The example we will cover this time is not very different from the Provider Overview 04 app. But let's create a new app and test extension methods. Let's start by creating an app called Provider Overview 05 and copy all the contents of Provider Overview 04. Let's modify the example we just made by using context.read, context.watch, and context.select. Change all 04 to 05, and this time let's set age to 3. We will also change the title to 05. We will also change the title of app bar to 05. Use watch method instead of provider.of doc context. In this case, you can use select instead of watch. Again, we use the select extension method instead of provider.of here. Specify doc, which is a type of the accessed instance, and string, which is a return type, and return doc.read from the callback. Again here, you use the select extension method instead of provider.of here. Specify doc, which is a type of accessed instance, and integer, which is a return type, and return doc.age from the callback. For the button, use read extension method instead of provider.of. Now let's do a hard restart and run it. It runs fine without any issues. The code seems to be much simpler. We'll mainly use extension method instead of provider.of in the future. Next, look at what to do when there are multiple providers.